Good evening, Abhishek.
Hi, Shravani, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Hi, who is 112233?
Hi, this is Yusra.
Why can't you put your name?
Hello,
That's
Abhishek.
quite simple.
Hello, Dr. Abhishek.
How are you?
I'm good.
Valerie, how are you?
Doing good. Sorry, I'm at work.
Why are you working so late? I stopped working at noon today. Just to make you feel bad, that's it. I'm still working. I was not feeling well yesterday. Just give a couple of minutes for everyone to join. 8 or 2.
Good evening, Dr. Abhishek.
Hi, Daniel, how are you?
I'm good.
Hey guys.
Hi, Prashant.
Hi, Dr. Abhishek.
Hi, Pushpa. You don't have gas in the tank after 2 interviews, huh? Come on.
Yeah,
You're on mute.
I feel like I'm done.
Just for two interviews?
Yeah, that's a lot of stress.
Stress. I was actually sharing this in the class yesterday. I was just reading this article on rest. How many types of rest do you know? Just give it a shot. It's okay. You don't need to beat me, but how many types of rest do you know? REST.
Meditation.
Okay. Vinay, don't Google.
Social rest.
Social rest. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, we are getting there. Okay, 1 out of whatever. I'll tell you how many. There are 7. Okay, go ahead. Social rest. And then
Actually, I watched one of your videos.
you watch the video, then you cannot do this. So you're exempted from participation in the competition. So go ahead, Shravani. Tell everyone, enlighten everyone how many kinds of rest you have and what you have to do to obtain those rests.
Social rest is kind of like you should be yourself from like divide from family and friends so that sometimes your mind will be relaxed. Um,
Okay.
Physical rest is taking. Actually, I did not watch the complete video.
Cool. So there are 7 kinds of rest. One is physical rest, which we all know. So you have to physically rest. There's active and passive again. Active is you go for massages and spa therapies and all those things. Passive is you just sleep, and that's, I think, one of the major ways that you do your physical rest. We think that we need to sleep so that we can do, but sometimes, you guys sleep, when you wake up you're still not your 100%. That's because you need to cover all the 6 rests. The second one is mental rest, which is pretty much what we do with meditation, stop thinking. And number 3 is creative rest. We always create something. We either create problems or we create something to solve a challenge. So we should give rest to our creativity so that you are, boosted enough when you really need it. That is creative rest. And most of the times, creative rest, you can go for hiking, be close to the nature, and all those things, so that you look far than what you're doing by zooming into your life every minute. That's creative rest. That's number 3. Number 4 is emotional rest. You need to get your emotions out. You need to you need to get your emotions out. Talk to someone, talk to your loved ones, so that you're not stagnating your emotions, so that you don't have the burden of always thinking about what you're doing. If you have to laugh, cry, whatever you need to do, share your feelings with someone. And some people do it with therapists. Some people are fortunate, they do it with their family and friends. So that's something that social rest. And the last thing is, emotional rest. And the 5th thing is social rest, where you have to have friends. You need to reconnect with them, have face-to-face, kind of connection, but not always be with them. But you need to have your alone time, me time, so that you think through what you're doing, especially in the early morning when you wake up. If you can spend probably 10-15 minutes with yourself, like what you need to do during the day, I think the day is being you run the day rather than the day running you. There's a very nice book on it. I forgot the name. It's called 12-week year. So it really talks about this. The last thing, how many did I cover? 6?
Almost 6.
Almost 6.
Yeah.
Physical rest, mental rest, creative rest, social rest,
Emotional rest.
emotional rest, creative rest. There is one more. I always forget the 7th one.
Sensory and spiritual rest.
See, Sweta, you were there in the class yesterday.
Yeah, that's why I was quiet.
So it's actually good. Sensory and spiritual rest. You need to, connect with something higher than whatever you are, whatever you do, so that you kind of align your values. And the last thing is sensory rest, and which is like away from screens, away from music, away from all these things, which is very hard to do sometimes, but you still have to do it. So that's that. So what are we talking about today?
Supposed to be marketing, yes.
Yeah, this is good marketing call with starting with the rest. So I know there's a lot of activity. I'm really happy with few folks having interviews. The thing is, we cannot go through the submissions, interviews, and everything because obvious reasons. You don't want to you don't know the result yet. But I can just quickly wrap up by the submissions, interviews, and everything, and then we'll see if you guys have any questions. You can ask me any question that you need for the recruiter's point of view. Nothing to do with the subject, but from a recruiter's call, if there's anything, I still get some questions from you in WhatsApp and emails. Please try to email me. It's much easier to do it. So let us see if you have any questions after this. But I know Pushpa had 2 interviews. Vinay had 1, right, Vinay?
Yeah, 2 rounds.
You had 1 more coming up.
Yeah, the recruiter just called. She wanted to talk to me initially tomorrow.
Okay. So yeah, we talk about that. Something I wanted to talk to you about. So you have 2 interviews, and I believe Shamsher, you had 1 interview, right, already?
No, sir. It's only 8th. It's a postponed. It was supposed to be on 4th. Now it's 8th.
Oh, 8th. Okay. And
Yeah.
Prashant had one interview, right, Prashant? He's on mute. Yeah, Prashant had few interviews. Sadhya, you had an interview, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I had two interviews yesterday. So one was the video interview, another one was phone interview. The video interview with Glenmark, I mean, it did not go very good. So, I mean, I will tell you that. So, but, you know, the second one from GenMap, I mean, it went very well. And then they have scheduled second round of interview. So that's going to be next week on Thursday. So there will be 2 rounds for half an hour.
Okay. So guys, a quick thing. Last time when we did this, I sometimes, you know, in the context of looking at everyone equally, sometimes we kind of do things that are not supposed to be done. So you don't have to mention your companies in this call because some people are not comfortable telling their companies that they have submitted for whatever reason. That's beyond my understanding at this point. But if you're not comfortable, you don't have to say which companies you're going. You got the interviews. You can just keep it to yourself. But of course, I know it because you email me. That's great. But in an open call like this, try not to talk about company names, because these calls are recorded. You don't want the company names on this call because you don't know where this recording will go. So just not take any company names. I would really appreciate that. But that being said, why do you think the Glenmark interview did not go well, since you mentioned the name already?
Yeah, because there were so many technical questions. I mean, they were just asking, how did you do that? How did you do this? And then so I was just, not that much comfortable with going deep into the answers. So I was just, brushing up at the top. And then I think most probably, that got ended like in 22 minutes or something instead of half an hour. I mean, I can just, feel from my guts. I mean, it didn't went well.
So it was more technical in the sense they kind of took a deep dive into case processing and asked you all case processing related technical questions.
Not case processing, but they were just asking something related to the safety aspects. I mean, how did you do that safety? I mean, how did you go around with that? And then so they were just going deep into that. And then I was not really comfortable going deep into, because
so
I
want to know what questions they asked, like exact what questions. Like when you say safety, are they asking you about the product?
They asked me about the product too. I mean, what products are you working? So I mean, I just said, we are working on phase 2 and phase 3 oncology products. And then, I mean, really don't remember, I mean, what were the other questions, but, that was something related to my resume too, the things what I mentioned in there. And then they were just asking, you have mentioned, this experience in your resume. And then, can you please elaborate about, what did you do, with that? And then, sometimes I wasn't really comfortable going deep into that because I didn't have any answer for that.
So I always say this, right? When you go for interviews, you need to do three kinds of preparation. One is subject, which you guys already must have been doing with the modules, with whatever subject that you have. Brushing up, those things are very important as much as you can. You don't have to do it every interview, but at least you need to understand the frequently asked questions and have a concepts ready. So if you have done the course with us, that should not be a problem, because you go through these modules n number of times and we only repeat this again and again. So that's one. Second thing is you need to do research on your own resume. If you are having some resume that is fabricated, or okay, let me put it straightforward. If your resume is faked, you have to make sure that you read through the resume, highlight the things that you do not know. If you cannot talk about that simple single sentence for 30 seconds to yourself, you need to ask me. You need to say, Abhishek, I do not know these sentences. These are in my resume. They're tagged properly. So what should I do for this? You need to, either we can delete them, we can remove them if it is too much, if it is not needed. But if we think it is needed, then I'll just give you an explanation like what is this about, how does it work. You just have to put this piece of picture into the module picture you have. It will sink in somewhere. It's not rocket science again. It's like, like they do it in the company in certain way, and maybe that is the wording that you have in your resume, and you just need to understand the concept, understand the story, and try to take this piece of the story and put it into your brain mapping somewhere, such a way that it fits into the concepts that you already know. And once you start speaking it, it becomes much easier. So that is the second kind of preparation you need to do on your resume. They might ask you any kind of question from your resume if they go through your resume, and that's a very frequently used technique by the interviewers, because that is the only piece of information they have about you, that's the recruiters are passing on. So that is number two. Number three is what Prashant was talking about, is if they ask you questions regarding their company. I mean, like, sorry, what Prashant was asking or talking about is the resume part. And the last thing is you need to do research on the companies that you already worked for, like whatever is on your resume. Just to write one page, just scribble something about that company's website. Everything is on the company website. What products they have, what trials they do, what are the products going for approval, where did you work, what are you going to say, how does this company products that are on your resume kind of correlate, sync with what you're going to be working for this company. Like, for example, let us say you're going for an oncology product company, and they have phase 3 trial, and you see in their company they're working on an oncology product by name, let's say lenvatinib, which is an ESI product. So you can say that, oh, I worked on Pembro, I worked on a different oncology product with a different indication, but at least you worked on something similar, a similar class, similar therapeutic area, whatever it is. So that really helps if you do the research on just the website itself. You don't need to know pharmacovigilance, you don't need to know all those things. Just the portfolio of the company itself, from a clinical trial perspective, from a post-marketing perspective, and what is given in the job description. The best way to do that regarding job description is the 30-minute phone call that you guys have with the hiring manager, where they talk about their company. They're not going to assess you right away. Why? Because they want the team to assess you. No one is going to take accountability for their solo decision to hire someone. You might be a senior medical director, but you still need the team to say yes. Because now, let us say if they hire you and you go wrong, the senior medical director will not be sacked. The whole team will say, yes, we said yes. So collectively, they take the responsibility. So it kind of diffuses. You see my point, how politics work? So that is the reason why when the hiring manager calls you, he's going to talk a lot. You think that they're going to ask you a lot of questions, but that's not how it goes. Most of the interviews, they will talk a lot. You need to listen a lot. The person who listens more is actually the person who's impressing them more, at least in the first part of it. And even in the next phase of interviews, if they are talking and the time is ticking, let them talk. You don't have to interrupt, you don't have to impress them, you don't have to do anything. Just write notes, do whatever, summarize what they said if you can in the end. Don't ask them smart questions in the topic they asked. Just write 1 or 2 simple questions at the end. So the point is, if you do this third point where you research your companies on your resume and the companies that you're going forward to, of course, every time you have an interview, you don't need to do the previous one because you have the same companies anyways. But you need to do research on the company upcoming, whatever information that you can get. The best thing is write it down. Don't try to stress yourself with remembering all these words. Just write it down in a piece of paper. So if you go to an interview, you should have the job description on one screen or one paper, one document, and you should have your resume printed out and the notes that you took from the the company that you're going into, 3 documents have to be right in front of you, because that is basically what is going to make you answer a lot of questions. The subject you're going to answer, if they ask you what are you currently doing, you just tell them what is in the job description. I'm doing case processing, start with narrative writing, query generation, Medra coding. I do both clinical and post-marketing. I do phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And this is what I do along with reviewing clinical documents like IB protocol. How do I know this? Is because I read through the job description. So once you say what they're looking for, you basically are doing a lot of selling right away. I mean, if you're new to sales, that's okay. But in a job interview, you're actually selling yourself. I'm sorry to say, but that is exactly the statement that you need to remember. So you have to be in a position to be very aggressive about talking about yourself. You're not even doing justice if you're not bragging about yourself. So the first 2-3 minutes of any interview call is your time. And I can tell you the first 2-3 minutes, I always ask this question, tell about yourself, or what do you do in your current position? That's the first question I ask them. And if they give me a 2 to 3 minute answer, I am interested in the second question, third question, if I have to ask them. If not, basically from that question itself, most of the times, people know how the interview is going to go. So you got to write it down, practice it in the mirror if you have to. Smile a lot. You're doing a lot of interviews virtually, so smile a lot. If you smile on a phone, people know that you're smiling. I don't know how many of you know this. You smile a lot. It's okay to be nervous, but you got to perform at the same time. I think that nervous, like the initial nervousness, is actually good. It makes you alert, and it kind of sharpens you more than you think. But it should not be overboard. You got to kind of have that experience as well. But so my points here are only to help you do this preparation. You cannot go into an interview saying that I'm going to learn something from it. You're not going to get a lot of chances here. I'm 100% about that. I keep repeating it, not to just scare you that you will not get more interviews. But I don't think you need to learn from your own mistakes. You can learn from mistakes from other people. You can learn from doing the right thing. Why not do the right thing and get it done rather than doing mistakes and learning from it? So I think that's what I wanted to communicate today. Any other interviews anyone had? I know Prashant shared, Vinay, Pushpa, you had 2 interviews. Shamsher. Sadia, how about you?
Yes, I had one interview. I was really hopeful about that, but it was a really bad day for me because it was a Zoom interview in the beginning, but they said they would take a phone interview, and they did a phone conference call, and I couldn't hear the person who was actually taking the interview. Others, I heard them. Like I told them, like I can't hear you, and can I call you back? Because he was going on and on describing everything, like how his company works and all that. And I told him, like, can I call you back because I can't hear you, your voice is cutting off. So he said okay, and then I called back again, but there was some problem in the signals, and no one else was everyone else might have been hearing him, I don't know, but like I couldn't hear him what he said. And he asked me questions that were very basics that I could hear, but his voice used to cut off in the middle. I kept them telling about that, but yeah, that's why like they did not ask me many questions, but they were all the same behavioral questions I had before. So
did you hear from them if there is a second
not
round?
Not yet, but they said they will. I don't know. They said that they will come back.
So do you have this trouble with anyone else calling you?
No, this was the first time.
So why did not you reschedule it right away?
I asked them like if they could hear me, and because like I couldn't hear me, so they said they're okay with this, they can hear me. So I don't know other people could hear him or not, because other people I could hear them. Just this
Yeah, I
one
mean,
person I couldn't hear.
yeah, what I can suggest is, next time if this happens, if it is happening to you, probably you are in a poor signal area, whatever it is, just try to figure that out. But always ask to reschedule it, guys. I mean, like, sorry, I'm not able to hear you properly. I'm not sure what is the technical issue. Can we
Okay.
please reschedule it, because this interview is very important to me. You
Okay.
can mention that.
Okay, yeah, I should have done that.
Yeah, don't try to fight it out when you cannot control something. Just to tell them, can we reschedule this? This is a very important interview. I was looking forward for it, but it is beyond my control. I cannot hear you properly. It's cutting off. So please let me know if we can reschedule it. You can put it in a very candid and polite way, and they will take it, rather than starting at negative. You know what I mean? It is better to start at 0 than going negative.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. So do that
Yeah.
next time. I know
Bec-
you.
This was the first time it happened. Like, so I didn't know what to do, because like I requested them, like I said, like, is there something else I can do? So yeah, they didn't say anything about that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But just try to do the best next time with your communications. Okay.
Okay.
Anyone else? Anyone had any submissions without the company names?
Dr. Abhishek, I had one submission for the J&J today only.
Abhishek, I did submit 2 with J&J.
Okay.
I submitted about 8 to 10 applications.
So, question: don't tell the company names. This is going to be a sucker punch. You know what sucker punch is? Like someone hits you in the gut, you feel it, right? How come Vinay can submit for 10 positions and rest of you cannot apply for 10 positions? I think he doesn't have superhuman powers of searching the internet. He's just doing the same, right? So, Vinay, what do you think?
Where is he submitting from? Is it from LinkedIn or like through
Vinay, where are you
recruiter?
submitting it from?
From all the sources: LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, ZipRecruiter.
I have one question. Are these remote opportunities or on-site?
No, even some of them are on site too. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
But yeah, if it's like through all the channels, even I am submitting, but with the recruiters just 2, because all the recruiters are getting like the same job every time.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
one
just
like
ask
one
the
job,
recruiter
and
for
all the recruiters are getting the same job.
requisition ID and just compare it before submission. You don't want to do double submissions.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I just submitted for 5 of them today.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good. At least submissions are happening. How about calls? Are you guys getting calls from recruiters?
Yeah, I'm getting calls from recruiters.
No,
yeah, even me.
Yeah, there's so many.
So submission is different from applying on the company, right? Submission is different, right?
Yeah, submission meaning your resume is being presented to the hiring manager. Applying
Yeah.
on a website is just like dropping a letter.
Okay.
They may open it, they may not open it. But you need to apply anyways. Okay,
right.
We are at 8:30, but any other questions, burning questions that you think will help everyone on this call?
Abhishek, since Pushpa like interviewed for 2 positions, can Pushpa throw some more light on like how the interview was and how were the questions like?
Yes. You want her to go to the trauma again? I'm in for it. Pushpa, all yours. Next 5 minutes. Go through your interviews.
Oh my God, I don't want to retrieve those things. I already sent the questions to you. It was like terribly, the field, I didn't know they asked so many questions. I don't know, somehow I managed. Still, I don't know whether the answers are right or wrong, because just like Prashant said, they ask technical questions. Okay, I have in my resume line listing and the summary tabulation, they ask which tab you go and how do you take it and everything. So that I was so clueless. I said that we go to the report, but I get the data management help. Sometimes depends on their mood, they go into too deep. I don't know whether we are taking them there or
It's just the way the company that you interviewed for, they just do those kind of things. Normally, most companies don't really drill you so much. Yeah, you're right. It depends on the company and how the team is structured. If there's a panel interview, you know how a panel interview is.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm like mentally traumatic now.
No, it's
so much stress and I couldn't even sleep.
How many kids you have, Pushpa?
2.
How did you go to two childbirths and say this is stressful?
No, it's manageable still. I this field, I didn't know that, so whenever I'm going I just wanted to get prepared and go. Childbirth, I know because I'm a doctor, so I know those things.
Don't worry, I mean, you'll be surprised.
I have done cesarean also. I have done cesarean and normal deliveries. I have done before my marriage, so I know those things. But this is really like unknown area.
See, that is something that I want to also emphasize. Everyone has a limiting belief. I think more than interviews and interview questions, this is something that I find very interesting to overcome. And I know some of you are not going to like this, but you need to face your fears, right? So what I want to communicate here is, everyone has some limiting belief, limiting thing. See, your behavior of how you're going to do the interviews, how you're going to take this recruiter calls and everything, your decisions that you take in a split second during this interview process, your behavior will depend on your beliefs, and your value systems. It's not on your skill sets. It's not what is your education level, how sharp are you, how smart are you, what did you do, who taught you what. All this are secondary, but it all depends on your belief. It all depends on how you believe in yourself. It's not some kind of a motivational thing. It is actually true. If you believe that if you do 10 push-ups every day or like 100 push-ups every day, you're going to lose weight or get in shape, you will do it. Period. If you don't believe that this process is going to lead you to an end result, you will start and stop it, or you will not do it in the first place. So it's your belief system. And to add to that, just adding on that belief system, it's not really what you believe, it's what is stopping you from believing. It's called limiting belief. Like what Pushpa is saying, she has the skill sets, she has the subject. She is I can say that she's one of the most engaged student in the class, from what I know, with the notes and the questions and all those things. I know she can actually teach drug safety to someone. I know that at least the basic course she can do it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, see, she's very confident about that belief. I know that. But sometimes, not to point fingers at her, but to make everyone understand the point, your limiting belief is, this is an unknown territory. I've not done the work before, so I have to be extra vigilant about answers I give, or I have to do something that requires superhuman powers. So that is a limiting belief. You have to get out of it. You have to literally borrow some belief from probably me, probably someone who got a job, or probably who is exactly like you, and they have already crushed the interview and they are now doing a job and doing whatever you wanted to do after this point. So you don't bottleneck yourself with your limiting belief. You just have to have that like a small overcoming power to that limiting belief. And some people will say, I don't have the education, I don't understand some of the things that you speak because I don't have the medical degree. You cannot control that. You're not going to go do medicine and come back and do this course and then get a job. So you got to overcome that limiting belief. And some people have this problem with, I have an accent, I have this Indian accent, I have this Russian accent, I have this Spanish accent, something. Pushpa Moot. So my point is, that is your limiting belief. You need to come out of it. I always say I have an accent, that's good because I can speak two languages at the same time. Am I clear in my communication? Yes. So what is your limiting belief? If you cannot identify it, I am the first person to tell it to you right on your face. You know me well. I'll tell it to you right on your face. This is what you need to work on. I never say anything about subject because I'm sure you can actually interview the people that are being interviewed right now from the subject point of view. But there's something that you need to do. You need to explore yourself and say that what is my limiting belief? I told Prashant the same thing. I said, you know everything, just go forward, be fluid, be flexible, don't try to analyze anything, just go with the flow. And after that, he's doing his interviews properly. And I know it's just a matter of time for him to get the job and all those things. So there should be something that you need to find out. And only thing I can bring to the table is my experience of talking to people and coming out with what is actually blocking the progress. You got to communicate. You have to tell Abhishek what the heck is going on. Why am I not getting calls? And if I'm getting calls, where are my submissions? If I'm getting submitted, what is my interviews? Now I'm getting interviews. Why am I not getting the job? So if you're not little disappointed with all these things, but also be productive at the same time, you will know your limiting belief. And there's absolutely no one without any limiting belief. I sincerely say that because I really wish the best for everyone on this call. So that's why I want you to think about this, because some of you, your limiting belief is, I don't have time to take the calls. Because you're working 9 to 5 or whatever shifts you're working, and you have to figure out how to take calls in your work schedule. So you got to figure out like, okay, am I really taking the calls after some time? Yeah, am I returning back the calls? Is it the same? So you have this. Drop it and try to schedule some time, 12 to 12:30, 4 to 4:30, every 3-4 hours. Just have 15-minute break if you have to. Everyone who goes to lunch doesn't have to eat food. You can do a lot of things in your lunch time. So that is your limiting belief. And some people have this belief of, they look at their resume and they think, oh my God, I did a lot of things on my resume, I don't know any of them. You do know it, and that is where I come into the place. So if your limiting belief is your resume, talk about it, get familiarized with it, be that person until you get the job, because you made the decision to have that resume. I mean, no one really choked you to death to have this resume. So if that is your confidence, that you need to raise your confidence based on the resume that you have, please do it. It is something that you need to, like, I can say it's like transfer of money. You can transfer, I can transfer some belief from me to you, because I truly believe in each one of you, or else I would not be doing this call. So yeah, so that's my take on this, because there's not a lot of subject to talk about it. There are little questions here and there. If you want, I can answer, but the central, I mean the deep, if I have to do a root cause analysis of why things did not go the way you wanted, is because of who you are and what you're thinking about yourself. And that is something that it's not possible even with 6 months or 3 months of acquaintance, of knowing you. I can do that. You have to do it for yourself. I can only suggest based on how you communicate with me. And I see that most students don't have a line of communication. I see some of you only on Wednesday nights. And that is not a good sign, because you're going to be there. I don't know if you're doing it, you're not doing it, but you just have to communicate. I'm not getting anything, or I'm getting this. I get WhatsApp messages. I go through those WhatsApp messages. I text them back saying that keep applying, keep doing this, keep doing that, and don't stress yourself on this, work on this. So something or the other will come from me. That actually opens up a lot of things. And sometimes you need motivation. As they say, motivation is like shower, and you need it every day. And sometimes you text me, and that's what you get out of it, so that you can get up and give it one more shot. And probably that's all you need sometimes. So yeah. So
Dr. Abhishek, yeah, can I tell you something?
Yeah, sure.
Whenever you talk, I really get confident. So I feel like all the time talking to you until I get the job. It gives a lot of, whenever you're talking, you give a lot of points. Those are very helpful for the interview, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, your preparation really helps us. So I'm just telling to others also, just take all the points whenever you're talking, with my experience, whatever I'm saying.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I think, Pushpa, I just wanted to add something over here. That's really good that you're talking to Abhishek, and then you are getting some inputs, and then it's motivating you. But on the other side, you should be self-motivated sometimes. Whenever you are applying for jobs, you have to make your decision. You have to get self-motivated. So if not, nothing happens. I tell you from my experience, if you can't really make yourself motivated, so at least now Abhishek is there. So he's just talking to us, and then we are just getting the guidance. But down the road, when you just go alone in the job,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Then
my only fear is like, what if they ask whatever I don't know? That is the only fear. Whatever I know, I just answer everything, and they were happy with everything.
Pushpa, but, if you know everything, there'll not be Google.
No, that's true. But I just wanted to make sure. Sometimes we don't know. We just answer. We don't know whether that's right or wrong, because we are not, we have no experience in that. So those are the one, doubtful areas.
I feel like I need to take your brain out and wash it and put it inside. Why you keep telling the same story again and again? Just try to change the narrative. Change the story. You know everything. You can answer the questions they're going to ask you. Just to do 3 interviews with this mindset. Okay, guys. Any question? Any question? Yeah, sorry.
Abhishek, I want to ask, like, all those who gave the interviews, how confident are they with a fake resume?
Nice question. I really want everyone to understand the question she asked. Louder, Dira.
So I wanted to ask, like, all those whose resumes are being faked, like they have like particular experience that is shown on the resume, how confident were they when they gave an interview?
I cannot generalize. They're all confident. Some people are confident right away. Some people get confident with 1 or 2 interviews. Some people are confident after that. But I believe confidence out of what your resume shows you, whether you fake it or not fake it, it depends on the sense of urgency that you create. What I mean by that is, for a lack of a better word, to make it very clear, if you are so keen on getting a job, moving into the workforce, having a career through pharmacovigilance and doing all great things that you can do with all the resources you have, rather than what you're doing because of your educational qualification, because of what you think that you can do in life, which is a more important question than just having a job, then the sense of urgency you create around it with the level of desperation you have with a job, that really creates everything around you to actually gain confidence. Because you might have seen, I mean, again, I'm going to the extreme to make you understand this or make everyone understand this. You would see a salesman go knock every door and try to sell something, and he will not get disappointed with one no. He will still go, because by the end of the day he needs to feed his family. So in that case, the first knock he's going to get, or the first no he's going to get, is not going to be dropping his confidence, because he knows what he wants to do by the end of the day. Now, if you are the same salesman, let us say in a high-end car dealership, and you don't need to be so desperate because you already have set up like say whatever, like a Ferrari or a Mercedes-Benz showroom. They're not so desperate because they need to get only few customers to buy their car, so they're okay with selling 5 cars a month because they make their profit by the end of the day. So their level of desperation is very low, but their proficiency is higher with limited amount of people, so their confidence is super high. But again, they only go with very small number of customers or sales. The same way, when you think about your job preparation, when you think about your fake resume, it's not about your fake resume, it's about what you want out of it. If I give you, if I if I do this kind of as you guys know, in sales we do A and B testing. How many of you know A and B testing? So in sales, when we run an ad, when we do some marketing, we do one ad with one color and the other ad will have different color. We want to see how many of folks clicked this color A versus the other color B, and whichever campaign works good, we just duplicate it again. So the same way, if I give you a fake resume and if I give a proper resume to someone, who's going to get a job? The person who is confident because of their circumstances, not because of their resume. Is that clear?
Yeah, thank you. And Abhishek, one more thing, like all the jobs, like I see aggregate reporting, like they need like a PUSR, DUSR. So are we going to are you going to have a class for that?
Yeah, I mean, again, I really thought about this, but we cannot incorporate that into our course right now. I'm really finding it very difficult to do that because normally, I mean, already we have 2 to 3 months course, and we do have courses on signal detection, risk management. Actually, as a matter of fact, I just finished a class 7 to 8 on PSUR, aggregate report. We do have courses on that, but the point is how to club this with the basic course. I still don't understand that, because not everyone needs it. If you're going for case processing jobs, if you're going for individual case processing, or even assisting aggregate reports or RMPs, you don't need all that information. You just need to know what you know right now. So I'm trying to see if we can incorporate both and give a quick module on those 3 topics, which will help you in the interviews. Is that something that we should do?
Yes, that will be helpful.
Yeah, because like all the jobs, like what I go through, they require like
they're
aggregate.
asking that. Yes.
Yeah, and if I just like okay, I'm not going to apply for those, then I have a very limited thing where I should be applying.
Yeah, but
I think
again,
just
I
a
don't.
overview.
Yeah, I don't want to stop.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Prashant.
Yeah, I think just an overview of those things. I mean, just like what they are, and then how it's going to be processed, and then how we need to take care of those. That's it. So I mean, we can go
Yeah,
to
just
Google,
an
and then we can
idea,
just
just to get an idea.
check with that. I mean, you need not to go deep into that.
So how much time do you think all these things will take? Because I don't want to open a can of worms and say, okay, this is signal detection, and I'm sure Pushpa is going to ask me 20 questions in 20 minutes of lecture. And now I'll be sitting here for 3 hours talking about signal detection, not about getting a job. That's what
I'm sure I'm not going to ask any questions, just an overview.
Yeah, the more knowledge you know, the more questions you get, and that is very much what it is supposed to do. As you keep learning, you ask more questions, and that's completely fine. But sometimes at this point, how should we do it is a question. But I know everyone wants to do something, but again, if we can do like a 1 hour module on 20 minutes each and just say that these are the interview things, and just give you some references that you can read through, give you some guidelines, E2F, E2, E2R2, C2 guidelines, SIAM's guidelines, give you all the PDFs. They're all on public domain. It's nothing like I'm creating it. Just give you like a crash, not even course, crash module on it. And will that help? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I've been thinking about it for almost 3 months now.
Dr. Abhishek, when you said the R3, I'm sorry, they ask a question like, how do you get the source document from R3?
E2B.
They said, I answered CAMS, they said not CAMS.
They should have been kicking themselves. Anyways, we'll figure out something, but I still have to think through it, so that everyone will benefit. Any other recruiter based questions that will help you?
I haven't had any trouble with the recruiters. I mean, I just always answer that, and then I just keep on going with that. So
Okay. So we're good with the recruiter's call. Yeah. What more can we do to get this thing done?
I think Abhishek, I really wanna say something like, if you can make a story like scenario in an office setup, like what a case processor does. I think that would help. I think we have all this theoretical knowledge, everything that's really good, but practically we are not exposed about those experience. So if you can just give a story about how let's say he comes in the morning, he just opens up the email, and then he just check the case, and then later what happens, and then if you just give a small short story, I think that will be helpful, so that we can just keep that, and then we can just try to extract more and more from our knowledge to answer those interview questions. I don't know if that's
I like the idea. I
helpful
totally agree. Yeah.
What do you think?
This is a great idea.
Yes, no, yes, no.
Yes,
Chat.
yes, that will be
Yes,
helpful.
we'll be more confident to answer questions like what you're doing on your daily basis.
Because what I was really thinking in the first interview, I mean, I was overconfident. I mean, I thought most probably I would just crack that. And then when I just sat in front of the computer, and when they just started to ask me those technical questions deep into that, so I mean, I was really feeling uncomfortable, and then I didn't know what to answer those things. And then if you just give us a story, like a picture about what a case processor does on a daily basis, so that that will help, so that we can have that picture in our mind, story in our mind, and then we can just think about it all the time.
Yeah, so with this, let's do this next Wednesday. I'll set up a call 8 o'clock for probably 20 minutes, 20 minutes or so with 3 students who are now working as case processors. Let them talk to you about their day. Each of them are in different companies, different titles. I'll request them to come on the call. I'll ask them to narrate their day and then ask them questions that you need, and we'll see how that call goes. How about that?
Yeah, I think that's really going to be good. I think if they, try to explain just like a story, like, daily things of what they do it, I mean, that would be helpful.
Yep. Basically, that's what we will do. I think we had a module, man. We took it down. It's called Workday of a Case Processor. We had a module. We had all these videos. We said it's not useful anymore, so we took it down. Now you're just bringing up something we did like 2 years ago. Yeah, so
would be helpful, really.
Yeah, so we'll do that call next week, Wednesday, so that we can talk to you. You guys will hear from them rather than just me alone. Then we take it from there.
And Abhishek, also, can you please incorporate some behavioral questions while they are on the call so that it will be better for us?
To them?
Yeah, like how did they answer? Like if 2 of them are working, so how did they go through and all that?
See, understand that they're also case processors. They're not like established people. They just got their jobs. They might not answer behavioral questions based on their scenarios. You have to create it yourself. But I do understand your point. I'll ask them. If they answer, great. If not, I'll answer them.
Okay, thank you.
There are some books which are available in Amazon for the behavioral questions. I mean, you can just take that and then you can tweak by yourself. That's what I do.
Who had behavioral questions sent to them? Someone had an interview where the company sent them behavioral questions with the STAR method. Who was it?
He just told me verbally, Abhishek.
Oh, verbally. Oh, okay. That's Vinay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he just told me verbally. At the end of the first round, he told me we follow STAR method. But in the second round, they didn't ask much on the behavioral. It was a panel interview. They were mostly on DSUR and PSUR. At the end of the call, even the medical director was there in the call. So all the panel left, but she was there for another half an hour. She was interviewing me. So she told me at the end, pretty much they want someone who can readily come and after the initial training, authorize DSUR and PSUR reports and signal detection with much experience. So that's when I understood.
That's not the job.
Yeah. They did not mention much about that in the description, but they want someone who has more experience in aggregate reports and signal detection and risk management.
Yeah, we have, we have some STAR method as well. I have a whole bunch of documents on that. I'll just share it with you guys. Yeah, so just keep applying, guys. Don't stop. Don't give up that easily. You guys are getting started. It's only like, I would literally say this is your second week for some of you. So please, yeah, please go through the job listings, apply as many as you can, keep applying, keep getting calls. It's pretty much a sales funnel, 10-5-2. If you get 10 phone screens in next 30 to 45 days, you get 5 interviews out of 10 phone screens. 5 interviews, you get 2 offers. But the point is, you got to prepare for this 10 phone screens, and you got to prepare in the 3 levels that I told you very thoroughly for those 5 phones. I mean, in the face-to-face, and that's it. You're done. So you just have to count that 10-5-2 formula. Don't count the number of calls. Don't count really the number of submissions. Don't count all those things. Doesn't matter. You just have to count what is, like, as you know, KPI, key performance indicators, 10-5-2. and that has always been right. So yeah, so you guys are doing great, but I just want to pick up some speed. Keep applying, keep taking calls, keep communicating with me, good or bad. Just keep communicating with me, WhatsApp, text messages, emails, however you feel like communicating. Just text me as much as you can, and let me know what is happening, what's not happening. Don't make this a weekly thing, because if you are going to be doing that on a weekly basis, it's going to be a very long road. I don't want that to happen. So I want it to be on a daily thing, Monday to Friday. If nothing happens, just say nothing happened today. That's okay. So that at least gives you one more day to, recover and do something. That's all I have. Let us do this call again with 2 or 3 folks based on their availability. I'll make some phone calls to get that thing, and we'll have them on the line. And I'll not reveal their names, so they'll tell you whether they faked their resumes or not, and then we take it from there.
Thank you.
Pushpa, I just want to add something over here. I mean, for your self-motivation. I mean, I get motivated. So I mean, about one thing, because I don't know whether if you consider me as bad guy or something. I mean, when I was in masters, I mean, there was one guy. I mean, he was my classmate. I mean, the thing is, he got experience working as a research associate in a lab, but I had all the theoretical knowledge and then the communication skills, right? I mean, I was just searching. I was lagging behind. And then one day what happens, I mean, I just faced an interview, and then, I just got a offer to work as a project assistant, right? At the same time, I went into a different place, and then I met this guy, my friend, and then he finished off this, that project, what he was working on. And then he was asking, so where did he go? So what did he do? And then I just, without understanding myself, so I mean, I just told him that I got an offer in this particular lab. So, immediately what he did, I mean, he just took all his, influence, and then he came into the same place where I applied and then got the offer, and then he just snatched it away from me. You know how it hurts? It hurts. And then I just remember him every time, and then I just want to make sure myself that I want to be more than him. I don't know if you think me as a negative guy or positive. So, I mean, this is what that inspiration. So what I get it every time. I remember that.
Thank you, Prashant.
Oh, that's very nice, Prashant, for sharing that. That's, I mean, everyone has some story very similar to what Prashant shared, but we don't share it because we feel we are vulnerable. But if you're not going to share, you're going to be weaker. At some point, someone very close to me called me a loser. I still remember the incident when they called, whoever called me, and that really motivates me even to this day. Look what I did, and that's it. That who has the last laugh is actually more important. So sometimes you don't need motivation all the time. You just need to remember why you are doing what you're doing. And what Prashant shared is exactly true. And most of you will have one case or the other, one scenario or the other, one person or the other to just rub it in their face and say, look what I did. You should have that competitiveness. You should have that aggressiveness. You can't be nice all the time. You just have to, kind of show who you are. And this is your moment. You got to step up and do what you're trying to achieve. And we are here. I'm here to basically help everyone, no matter what. Sometimes people ask me, where do you get this energy from? You're doing this for a long time, and you do this every time. Like you guys come into this class at 8 o'clock. I do classes from 6 o'clock. So people ask me, where do you get this energy from? My point is, what are the other options you have if I don't have the energy that I have? Tell me if you have any alternative options. Who's going to talk to you the way I talk to you? And you cannot be down helping someone, or I should say assisting someone. You really cannot it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible for you to be low. At some point, someone says, "Oh, I'm depressed, I'm this, I'm that," and I tell myself, yeah, there are low times, but when I come on this call, when I go into this call, there are few people that I can really do something with them, and they can do something better than what they did yesterday or when they woke up today. At least they'll go back to their bed thinking there is one more day that they can do something better. So that gives me the energy. Sometimes I'm zero, there's nothing in the tank, but I mask my face, I give more energy. I kind of, kind of say that if I'm lifting you, I have more energy than you because I need to lift you. So these are all things that you'll understand as you keep going along. But for now, take this belief, know your limiting beliefs, do whatever you have to do to get this job done. This is just one check mark, like a milestone in your career. You will laugh at all these calls. Probably 3 months from now, you'll say, I miss those Wednesday night calls. I should have been on that just for the sake of being there. And I had students tell that I got a job, I still want to be on these calls. So again, it's just a process. Go through the process, go through your own journey, but do not stop moving. Just keep doing something, at least one thing. When you wake up, I asked this question to a good friend of mine. I asked her, what is the first thing that you think when you wake up? That's very important. The first thing you think about when you wake up. You have zillion things to do. You guys have kids, you have families, you have spouses, and all those things, and you have your own work and financial things and all those things, and your own challenges. Your family is back in India, whichever country, all those things. But what do you think the first thing that comes to your brain when you wake up?
I have to catch up everything.
Right. So stop thinking and say, what is one thing I can do today? What is one thing I can do today? Make it simple. No one is giving you points for working your ass off. No one is giving you points for your pain. No one is throwing a pity party for you. You can actually do it yourself by just if you don't have 1 minute to think about one thing that you want to do today to better your life, I think you are doing something wrong to yourself. You're actually cheating on yourself. So when you wake up, 1 minute, just say, today is not going to end until I do one submission. Today is not going to end until I do this interview to the best of my ability. Just for 1 minute, and see how your day goes that day. And tell me you don't have energy to do that. And that's something
Abhishek,
that you can do it.
Whatever it is, I mean, I think about you every day, man.
My wife will kill you.
No, I mean, in terms of career, actually, because, when I just met you for the first time, I just asked you, I mean, what it takes to reach, a level just like you're working, so that's the things what I think every time. So, I just want to become like this, guy like you. So that's what I think every time.
Yeah, I just thank you for all that, but don't want to keep anyone longer than required. And let's get it done, guys. Come on. We all have done great things. We have all done a lot of difficult things than what you're doing right now. It is just a phase. Go through it. Keep moving, and we'll get this thing done together. I'm 100% sure about it. It's just a matter of time. You got to make every day count. That's all I'm saying. And whatever it is, just talk to me. Just text me. Whatever you have going, just text me, and then we take it from there. We all needed help. I remember. Sorry for taking this time, but I still remember. I think I shared this with some of you. I still remember having $85 in my bank account. back in 2008 or 9. And this guy, his name is Suresh. He still works in some company in Boston as a VP right now. So he was a medical reviewer then, and I was applying for the pharmacovigilance, like exactly like how you guys are. And I had an interview the next day, and in that interview, in the job description, they said they're going to do some narrative writing assessment. I had no clue what that narrative writing meant. And he was helping me with some material here and there and trying to teach me and all those things. But the problem is, I had no money to travel. He lived, I mean, it's not far. Now I laugh at it. I was in Jersey City and he was in Edison, which is like 45 minutes drive. So now we go for dinner to Edison and come back. Jersey City and come back. But at that time, I was living in Jersey City, did not have a car, was relying on public transport. So for me, going to Edison is like going to India. So he said, I called him. I said, Suresh, I need your help. I don't know how to do this narrative writing. I have read everything that you have given me. I've read everything. I know all these things that you have given me, but this narrative writing, I cannot figure out. I did everything I can. He said, why don't you come home at 9 o'clock? I'll teach you this for 40 minutes or 35 minutes. And I have something to do at 9:45. And I'm like, okay. And I said, okay, text me the address. He texted me. It was $73 cab ride. I had $85 in my bank account. So I had to negotiate with the cab driver. It's like, once I get a job, I'll pay you back kind of thing. So I went to Suresh's place. He taught me narrative writing. He told me the template. He told me this, that, everything, whatever you guys know now. I came back for free. The cab driver gave me a free ride back. Nice guy. And then I did the interview. The interview did not go well. And then I got an interview in Maryland for AstraZeneca. And when I went there, they did not say anything about narrative writing. I went there for Maryland. I stayed in my friend's place overnight. And then I went to AstraZeneca. I did my interview there. I faked my resume. So you don't want to know what companies I placed on my first resume, because some of you think that you look at me and you think I'm very polished. You got to look at my 2008 resume. I had 7 years of resume, as if I did pharmacovigilance from age 14. So I did the interview, and in that interview, they asked me to write a narrative. I still remember there's an empty boardroom, and they made me sit there, and they made me write a narrative. So whatever I did a week before with Suresh helped me only in my interview with AstraZeneca. And that cab drive of $73 actually paid me very well. That's a very good return of investment, if I have to say so. Why I share this story is, I always think if Suresh was not there, what would have happened? And I always think if I'm not there right now, what are the other options folks have so that they can see some guidance at least. So yeah, I just want to share that. But anyways, let's talk next week and we take it from there.
Dr.
Thank you,
Abhishek.
Abhishek. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you.